We now come to the last table question, which is on reducing London's road crime, and it's from Assembly Member Russell.
Is that to me? Or?
So our focus has been working obviously within the Vision Zero strategy to tackle the most dangerous road users, to problem solve at identified locations, and to step up further our high visibility operations and patrolling. A huge amount of this work, of course, is done with others under the National Roads Policing Strategy and locally, particularly with Transport for London, with whom we have really good, co-working, integrated working. We try to innovate, and we've got lots of good examples of that. We're working closely with community groups and other organisations. We constantly review the data and profile what is happening, particularly in the most serious collisions. We use that data to target and deal with repeat offenders and those that cause the most danger, and we have an intelligence-led approach to that. We problem solve repeat locations and we identify hotspots where we should be. We carry out still, you'll remember many of you from a long time ago, the Operation Cubos, where we're out on the roads ending up with vehicles often being seized in large numbers. We are integrating some of our road safety operations with our violent crime operations, because a number of people who are violent crime offenders, of course, use vehicles and drive them dangerously and or without insurance. Our road transport officers have contributed hugely to the reduction in moped-enabled crime, which of course has been horrendously dangerous in some instances, with people driving in a completely anarchic way, and it's the road transport officers who are often the ones who are actually intervening and stopping the dangerous driving. And you will be aware that this year, sadly, we have had, I think so far year to date, 82 fatalities in London on our roads, which compares to last year where we had 105.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, people walking and cycling on our roads account for more than a third of the casualties. So that's where I want to focus our conversation. It was really good to see that both the Police and Crime Plan and the Vision Zero Action Plan were talking about making London streets safer for people to walk and cycle. Now, a good way of reducing road danger is to cut speed, literally reducing the kinetic energy involved in any crash. So I fully support the Mayor bringing in 20-mile-an-hour speed limits on 37 streets and town centres on the Transport for London road network by 2024. Now, I'm from Islington. We've got main roads which have 20 mph speed limits, but no actual enforcement. So I'm curious, Commissioner, are you going to be committing more police officers to these new 20 mph areas to enforce these limits, or will these be enforced with cameras?
Caroline, I just don't know actually, and that's genuine, that's just an ignorant answer. I don't know what we're going to do. I bet you somebody does in the Met, but I don't, and I'll have to come back to you. Suffice to say, you know that we have moved temporarily some people from our road I'm sure you were going to ask a question about that, road transport policing, into our violent crime task force. They are therefore less able to do some of the enforcement activity that they were previously doing. However, there is a nice synergy in many respects in the work, in that violence on the buses and other forms of violence and some very dangerous road users are being targeted and brought to justice. But precisely how the enforcement is planned in the 20 miles an hour zones, I'm afraid I'm going to have to write to you.
That would
Apologies.
be great. I'd be very interested to hear what the answer is eventually. Londoners often complain to me about people driving too fast on the roads where they live. one constituent who actually lives on a main road in Limehouse was apparently told by Transport for London to report every single instance of speeding to the police, or at least this is how the constituent told me, which seemed to be a rather laborious process. And I just wonder, sort of Commissioner in particular, what do you think the solution is for situations like this? What should citizens who are experiencing this very dangerous behaviour on our roads, what should they be doing?
So, I agree that does sound slightly laborious, and anyway, of course, the person standing usually can't tell precisely what speed somebody has gone at. But absolutely, we would encourage local communities and local groups to identify the places that they think are the ones where speeding is most prevalent. It is something that our police community support officers in the Transport Command are out and looking for and looking out for. We do regularly, I did it myself just the other day, stop motorists and speak to them about the manner in which they're driving, even when we cannot prove that it's actually been excessive speed according to the law. This isn't something we ignore, and we do want the public to tell us where they are most concerned about. We can usually then do some work to discover whether that is a hotspot for excess speed, and we do enforcement in those places.
Well, that's very reassuring, because I think a lot of people feel, because obviously you've got terrible cuts and huge pressures on the police in all areas of policing, and I think people feel that the police don't really care that much about road traffic crime, and particularly when they raise it with their safer neighbourhood meetings, right down at ward level. Sure. It's very often not even an option for it to be included in the ward priorities. So is that, I'm just interested, how do you feel, right down to that ward level of policing, how do you feel about them taking up traffic policing, traffic issues?
Well, a lot of the reductions in speed that we have achieved have been through other measures than enforcement, as you know, right across the country, but not least in London, through changing driver behaviour, through informing drivers better, through having clear signage, and indeed through the public talking to other members of the public about their family and friends about it. And I think we do need to continue with technology and those other methods. But I was at a ward panel not so long ago where this was an issue, and the neighbourhood officers there were able to say what they had done and what they would do. But it is, of course, together with colleagues, it is always a matter of priority, as you say, and there will be many places in which this is not those officers' highest priority. Yep. I'm afraid.
Well, anything you can do to help get the seriousness, sure. The impact on sure. families of people being killed or very Absolutely. Seriously injured Absolutely. On our roads is huge. Just finally, I just wanted to congratulate you on picking up on the successful West Midlands Close Pass policing scheme, where you have plainclothes officers on bikes who then experience people driving too close to them, and they are then picked sure. up. I gathered, apart from picking up these vehicles that are dangerously close passing the cyclists, you're also catching a lot of people with lack of insurance, bald tyres, talking on the phone at the wheel, all sorts of other things that are dangerous and risky. Are you planning any kind of increase on the close pass policing that's going on at the moment?
I'm not. It's possible they are. I'll let you know.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. That's it from me.